Ladies and gentlemen, as you are all aware, last night's celebration ended prematurely due to a grave turn of events. Our host, Mr. First, was murdered, and I've gathered you all here to tell you exactly who plunged the knife into his back. As far as we know, there were no witnesses. Motive? Uncertain, but one can make assumptions. Mr. First had many enemies, and although he seemed to have just as many allies, it's clear that every suspect in this room was wronged by him in some way. Was what he did deserving of murder? Someone certainly thought so. But who was it? Could it be Miss Colton? Your previous affair with Mr. First is well known. He broke your heart, but still had the nerve to invite you to his engagement party. That could prompt anyone into a jealous rage. Or perhaps Miss Dawson? He may have considered you a friend, but Mr. First was still a business rival. His death would surely shake his company enough for you to gain more ground. Don't be so quick to point fingers, Jack. After all, as his son, you stand to gain quite a substantial amount through inheritance. Is it possible you were eager to receive it early? What I am saying is that everyone here was a suspect, including me and my assistant. After all, our only alibis are each other. The only thing we lack is motive. Mr. Hale, on the other hand, you were his business partner. You could have used his death to seize complete control over the company. And of course, his soon-to-be bride. Well, former soon-to-be bride. You would have gained no money from killing him before your marriage, that is true, but perhaps you had cold feet about the wedding, Regardless, there is only one killer. Someone Mr. First trusted enough to let into his home, yet hated him enough to murder him. And that person is you, Mr. Hale. Preposterous. Oh, I hardly think so. The greed of businessmen is endless. You owned half the company, but that wasn't enough for you. If you just got rid of your business partner, you'd be able to call all the shots. So you waited until you were both alone and killed him. No evidence? Oh, I believe this blood-stained knife we found in your bag is proof enough. Framed? Hardly. You have no alibi, and the murder weapon didn't just appear with your belongings. You may be successful in business, but not at getting away with murder. Officer, arrest him. Well, that's that. Ladies and gentlemen, with this mystery solved, I will take my leave along with my assistant. Farewell. All right, we're alone. You knew this was coming, so I'm just going to ask straight out. Why would you do something so foolish? My dear, I understand you don't like it when people insult me, but if you keep killing every person who does, people will get suspicious. At least you had the sense to frame someone who deserved it. Yes, First and Hale were both monsters, but you have to understand how bad murder's happening around me all the time looks. You're lucky I know by now to cover for you when you don't have an alibi. Especially so because you usually don't have an alibi because you were busy stabbing someone. I know you love me, and I love you as well, but this can't continue. Imagine if word got out that I was covering for my murderous assistant. I'd never get to solve a crime again. And that would make me unhappy. And I know you hate that. Now, do try to keep your temper under control. Thank you. The things I do for love. Come along now, we have a new case to solve. And I better not see a knife in your hands at any point during. The original ending of the script was going to be a lot more dramatic, but then I figured there's like not much here to begin with, and it's funnier if the listener turns out to be a yandere, so plot twist.